Hey everybody, Scoutcrafty here again. It's Mishmash Monday. What a beautiful day. Can you see that sky? Is that not a beautiful sky? I'm hoping that's a good clear sky because of maybe the West Coast fires have calmed down and we've had some funny skies there, but it's back to being beautiful blue and it's going to be a good day. We got a lot to talk about. Let's get downstairs and get started. First thing I want to talk about, a good friend of the show by the name of George Rodriguez, George with a J. George asked, he said, John, what's the real deal with the, the tools with the patina? As far as he knows that I do restorations, but he's like, as from a collector standpoint, do you really drop the value? And I have to tell you something. I've been into collecting all kinds of things, as you know, for many years. I don't sell anything. I'm just kind of a hoarder collector. But, there are two types. There are the people that buy and sell, and there are people that hold on to it for investment reasons. If you're buying tools will not make a good investment. Do not buy tools as an investment because this generation of, young men and women and the future generations really don't collect much and they're really not interested in tools, We went through a point where, we remember tools from years ago and some of the old timers like to collect tools, but it's it's not something to bother collecting because, like I said, there's no future market in it. When you go to these tool shows and stuff, you think that people are, say that's because everybody's gathered for the same thing. They're all looking for tools. That's why you're at a tool show. But in reality, I can't tell you how many thousands of tools are thrown away every day in garbage from, when somebody passes away or something, they got boxes of old tools and they say, and people say, I don't want it. What are you going to do with it? It's heavy. It's, especially rusty tools and dirty tools. Nobody wants them. However, what we do here is we take, tools that are worthless tools like auto wrenches and things like that, a $2, $1 wrench, and we work on it and we enjoy it and we have fun down the shop. So that's what we do. And but as far as if you find a tool that's deemed collectible, where a lot of people have been looking for, it's a rare tool or something, then you're better off if you're looking for the value of it, if you want to maintain, don't touch it. Do not touch it because, collectors are funny like that. They want, the most prized tool condition is new old stock, NOS. But anything other than that is, it depends on who wants the tool. I like tools because I like to use them. I like them clean. I don't like patina. No new tool ever came from the factory with patina. Patina is sweat and rust. That's all it is. Sweat, rust, it turns it into like a varnish on it. So if you like that, some people say, I like the look of patina, then leave it. That's because it's all about what you like, So I just wanted to cover that. I got a really good video. I'm going to leave a link in the description. So if you're new to the channel, and we haven't had this discussion before, check out that video on patina. I think you'll really enjoy it. It's one of my favorite videos, so I'll put it in the description. Okay, last week we covered some pliers, and one of the pliers was a Gedore. It was a wire stripper, but I made a mistake because I went on there, an old catalog from the 70s, and was looking at some of their tools, and it was listed because of the way the catalog, it was a PDF form, and it said underneath, it said hose clamp pliers, which was listed right under. Anyway, let me show you, and I'll tell you what. Okay, these are the pliers in question we were talking about, and we have a lot of viewers in Europe and stuff, so they pointed that out right away, because these are, as Marcel German pointed out, these are the type that they allow to be used in Europe and in Germany because the wire strippers will not crimp the wire and will not damage the wire when they're set properly. But let me show you, let's do a comparison because we don't use this type too much in the States. You don't see this type too much. Electricians are funny, like they tend to like what they're brought up with using. So let's go through all types of wire strippers. There are automatic wire strippers. There's different types of the old scissor type wire strippers, but this is basically the ones that most of us here in the States use. I know this is the ones I like, and you can see when you close it down here, it leaves a circular depending on the wire that you use. Now, this basically does the same thing, but it's adjustable to different wires. So what I wanted to do is try it out and see how they work in comparison, and then take a good look at the wire, because we don't have, like I said, we don't use these too much. And I know, let's try. There are many different wires that you might want to strip. Some are solid gauge, some are stranded wires, you know, so it all varies. This one here is your standard wire that you're going to see in a lot of times when you're doing electronic work. It's a solid core copper wire. Now, what we want to do here is we want to, obviously, you know, when you're going to strip the wire, you place it in here between, and when you press down, it's supposed to go around the wire and pop it off. And you see how it looks really nice. But you don't know if it dug into the wire until we strip it back a little further. So what we're going to do is we're going to strip back here another 1/4 inch. Okay, we're going to turn it, cut it, and then we're going to slide that off. And if you look really closely here, you could see it did indeed nick the wire. Can you see that? It did indeed, you know, it's a slight nick, but it definitely did nick the wire. Now, this is supposed to eliminate that if you set it up according to this, and we'll set it up and I'll show you how it works. Okay, I took a few minutes to set this up correctly, and it does take a few minutes to get it set up right. What we do is we're going to press it down here, squeeze it down, do the same test. Now, with this one, you got to kind of rotate a little bit because it just won't pull off like the other one does. But here we did. We pulled it off, okay? Now, already, I could see there's a little bit of nicking on the wire here. You know, it's just unavoidable. Yet, I have it set up that when this is closed, you can see here the wire passes through easily, you see? However, when I go to strip the wire, I can't pull it with just one, so I have to kind of turn it a little bit to make that cut around. And there it is. I'm pulling it off. Let's take a look at the wire now. And you can see we do have some markings. I think copper, you just can't avoid it. Now let's try the ones that, well, the ones I'm used to here. Again, you know, it seems like it's a much easier, you know, so I want a chime. Look, it seems like it's just much easier to strip it out. What do you think? So let me know in the comments, especially the electricians, because I know in Europe, like I said, this is the big ones over there, but which ones do you prefer? You know, me, I'm used to these, so maybe that's why I prefer these. But I really like to know what you guys think of these. Do you think they're useless? Do you think that they're really good? This one looks sharp. It doesn't look like it's dull, but maybe it is. You know, who knows? Let me know in the comments. Speaking of wire, you know, I go for walks at night, late at night, when everybody else is asleep. I usually about 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, I'll take an hour walk, and that's my exercise more or less. Now, when I go walking, I've been doing this for a long time. Whenever I see something, an electronic or electric appliance thrown out, I take the cord. I don't know why. It's one of these things. I've been doing it for a long time. That's why I carry a pair of channel locks when I walk. And I'll show you why I do it. I think my dad kind of got me started with this, but for some reason, whenever I'm walking and I see a cord, like this is a vacuum cord from an old vacuum that was thrown out. What I'll do is I'll take the cord and I will cut it off, and then I will come home. And when I come home, I'll take a damp rag and I'll wipe the whole cord down so it's nice and clean like this. And then I will roll it up and I will put it in a bag or something. This is a cord off an old, a small, one of those small refrigerators. So this one is a higher amperage cord, but you can see it's a good cord. It's got the plug molded on. Now, I used to buy those receptacle, you know, the female end of the plug, and make my own like inexpensive extension cords for different things. But I also do all kinds of electronic projects and stuff, so that's why I take these. But what's funny is when I'm out there walking years ago, when I was doing my walk, I would notice that I would come across these vacuum cleaners or refrigerators. They got the good cords, you know. And I would go to cut it off and it'd be gone already. So there was somebody beating me to the cords for about a couple years, you know, like for quite a while. He was getting out before me. Like, I think he would get out at like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. And I swear he would do the same. This guy walked all over town, but I haven't seen this guy now in a while. So the cords are coming back, but I must have about 50 cords, but I use them for different projects and stuff. Did you ever know anybody that does that? Got a quick story for you. Especially since we were talking about those European wire cutters. I thought that, you know, it just brought back a memory of mine. You know, you remember a few weeks ago, we were talking about when, back in the 80s, early 80s, I was training at World Gym in California. I ran into this guy at the World Gym. Nice guy. He was in good shape. He was an older guy, about 50, older for me at the time, young now. And his name was Brad, you know? So Brad and I don't know who introduced me to Brad, but he was a great guy. We started hanging out. He came to my apartment a couple times. He lived close to me. And, you know, like I said, most of the guys knew him there at the gym. He was there. He was a kind of a fixture at the gym. And this was pre-internet, pre-phones. You know, remember this. This is back in the dark ages, you know. Microwaves were brand new. So Brad and I were getting along good. We were training and stuff like that. And he was a funny guy. And it turns out... I found out his name was Brad Harris. Now, I didn't know this guy because I'm a young kid, you know. Turns out, you know, you European guys probably know who he is because he was a big star over in Europe. He was a Brad Harris, the movie star. And I had no idea, you know, and I kind of feel foolish because, you know, it took me 2.5 months before I realized who he was before, you know, and then I was kind of embarrassed. But real nice guy, Brad Harris. He did Hercules. He did a lot of movies in Europe. He was a big guy when he was younger. You know, when he was 50, he was trimming down a little bit because, you know, you can't maintain that size. But, for us here in the United States, probably don't know who he is. But in Europe, he was a pretty big star. And I was just wondering, anybody over there on the other side of the pond know Brad Harris? Really, he was a good guy. He just passed away, I think, in 2017. He was a really good guy, though, and he was funny guy, but he was in great shape, you know. So do you know who he is? Brad Harris. Okay, this whole week I've been kind of tearing up the trees that fell during the storm we had, cutting everything up, bagging everything, as you could see, old bags, and also I cleaned up an area because tonight would be a good night for an old-fashioned marshmallow roast, you know. The cats haven't ever seen a marshmallow roast before, so I have some old wood here, you know, scattered around that I'm going to be, this is all the dry stuff that snaps easily, and let's see what happens later on. We'll get a little fire going, toast a little marshmallows. That's the best part of life. Okay, the first thing you're going to need is patience, because obviously you don't want to start cooking your marshmallows with flames like this, because you wind up with a little flaming torch on the end of your stick. So you're going to have to wait till it gets down to coals, and you know, we got time. We can't build it too big because the fire department will come. So just let it get down to coals. It's always relaxing to see a nice fire on a nice cool night. Okay, you want to see something funny? I got the fire roaring, and look over there. Pipes is nice, comfortable, yawning, enjoying the warmth. The first fire he's ever seen in his whole life. Watching the embers go up into the sky. See the sky up there with the moon hidden behind the clouds? He's having a good time. This is what it's all about. Okay, now that your fire's down to a nice coal bed, what you want to do is get a stick and carve a little point at the end here, a long enough stick that you're not dealing with the heat. Put your marshmallow on, and I like to put a couple barbs at the end of my stick so that it holds the marshmallow on, and toast it up. Okay, to get a marshmallow that looks like this, nice and golden brown all the way around, it takes patience, you know. And then when you eat it, your voice should sound like this. Oh, that's it. It's very good. Tastes delicious. So in closing, thanks very much for tuning in. I hope this is a relaxing start to your upcoming week. Take care now. Bye-bye.